Hello friends, we start with chapter 9th of Science, standard 9th, Force and Law of Motion. Now we have seen chapter 2, Motion. In that chapter we describe the motion of an object along a straight line in terms of its position, velocity and acceleration. We saw that such a motion can be uniform and non-uniform. The problem of motion and its cause has puzzled scientists and philosophers. So, in this chapter, we shall make an attempt to quench all the curiosity. Early day life, we observe that some effort is required to put a stationary object into motion or to stop a moving object. This is called force. So, force, a push or pull on a body is called force. The characteristic of force has both magnitude and direction, making it a vector quantity. It is measured in standard unit of Newton. It is represented by the symbol F. Effect of force, it can change the speed of a body. It can change the direction of a body. It can change the shape of a body. Now we see about the balanced and unbalanced forces. Balanced forces. If the resultant of applied forces is equal to 0, it is called a balanced force. For example, in the tug of war game, when the force applied by both the team is equal in magnitude, then the rope does not move in either side. This is due to the balanced force in which resultant of applied force come out to be 0. Now, characteristic of balanced force. Balanced force do not cause any change of state of an object. Balanced force are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Balanced force can change the shape and size of an object. For example, when we press a balloon from opposite side, the size and the shape of the balloon is changed. Now about unbalanced force. If the resultant of the applied forces are greater than 0, the forces are called unbalanced force. To move an object, unbalanced force can be applied from the opposite direction. In case of unbalanced force acting on a body, it moves in the direction of the greater force. Now in the tug of war, if two teams are there, team A and team B, if team B comes towards team A, that means it's an unbalanced force. Now, unbalanced force can change the speed and position of an object, change the shape and size of the object. Now, when we talk about force, there are different types of forces. First one is muscular force. The force exerted by human body muscle is called muscular force. The second one is gravitational force. The attractional force applied by Earth on the object in downward direction is called gravitational force. That is, whenever we throw some object, it will come back to the ground. That is because of the gravitational force. Third one is frictional force. The force which opposes the force and the law of motion of an object while being in contact with other object is called frictional force. Air resistance, force which is exerted on the object while flying in air is named as air resistance. It acts in the direction opposite to the velocity of the object. Now we see Newton's law of force and law of motion. There are three laws of force and law of motion, those formed by Newton. They are: now Newton's first law of force and law of motion or law of inertia. It states that any object will remain in state of rest or in uniform motion along a straight line until it is compelled to change the state by applying external force. So inertia is a property or a tendency of every object to resist any change in its state of rest or uniform motion. Now, force and law of motion. It is measured by the mass of an object. The heavier the object, the greater will be inertia. Now we see the application of Newton's first law of force and law of motion. When a straight moving bus suddenly stops down, the passenger sitting inside falls in the forward direction. This is because the body of the passenger, initially moving in a straight line, tends to move the same way even after the brakes are applied, making the passenger falls in the forward direction. When we hit a carpet, it loses inertia of rest and moves, but the dust in it retains inertia of rest and is left behind. Thus, dust and carpet from the carpet are separated. Third example, you can see when a tree is shaken, it moves to and fro. The fruit remains at rest due to its inertia of rest. Due to this, the fruit breaks off the tree and falls down. The second important topic is momentum. The momentum of a body is defined as the product of its mass and velocity. Thus, momentum equals to mass into velocity. We denote momentum by small p, mass by m, velocity by v. So, p equals to m into v. The SI unit of momentum is kilogram meters per second. That is kg meter per second. Now, change in momentum. It is defined as the difference between the final momentum and initial momentum. Let u be the initial momentum of a body and v be its final momentum. Then change in momentum equals to mv minus mu. Rate of change of momentum. The rate at which the momentum of an object is changing is known as rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum is equals to mv minus mu upon t. Now mass is common, so m is common, v minus u upon t. Now we see the applications of momentum. A small bullet can penetrate into the body of a man and kill him when fired from a gun because it has large momentum due to its greater velocity. Second, a person gets severely injured when hit by a fast moving vehicle, which is due to the momentum of vehicle due to large mass and high velocity. With the help of momentum, we see the Newton's second law of motion. It states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the applied force and take place in the direction in which the force acts. Now we see the mathematical formulation of Newton's second law of motion. Let mass of a moving object be m, its initial velocity be u and final velocity be v. So we know that momentum p equals to mass into velocity. Therefore, initial momentum of object will be mu, final momentum of the object will be mv, and change in momentum is mv minus mu. Therefore, rate of change of momentum equals to mv minus mu upon t. From the Newton's second law of motion, we have force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. That is, force is directly proportional to mv minus mu upon t. M common, so you get m bracket v minus u upon t. But we know that acceleration A is equals to V minus U upon T. So using it in the above equation, we get force F is directly proportional to M into A. When we remove the proportionality sign by a constant K, F equals to KMA, where K is a proportionality constant. Now, one unit force is defined as the force applied on an object of mass 1 kg to produce the acceleration of 1 meter per second square. Thus, 1 unit of force equals to K into 1 meter per second square. So, K equals to 1. Replacing the value of K equals to 1 in the equation, we get F equals to ma. Therefore, force equals to mass into acceleration. The SI unit of force is Newton. Since force equals to mass into acceleration, the unit of mass equals to kg and the unit of acceleration equals to meter per second square. If force, mass and acceleration is taken as one unit, therefore we get 1 Newton and equals to 1 kg into 1 meter per second square. So Newton equals to kg meter per second square. Thus, 1 unit of force is defined as the amount that produces an acceleration of 1 meter per second square in an object of mass 1 kg. Now we see the application of Newton's second law of motion. First example. A fielder pulls his hand backward while catching a cricket ball coming with a great speed. Actually, while catching a cricket ball, the momentum of the ball is reduced to 0. If the ball is stopped suddenly, its momentum will be reduced to 0 instantly, causing the instant rate of change in momentum, due to which the ball will exert great force on the hand of the player, due to which the player's hand may get injured. Therefore, by pulling the hand backward, fielder gives more time to the change of momentum to become 0. This prevents the hand of the fielder from getting injured. Second example we see for athletics of long jump and high jump. Sandbeds or cushion bed is provided at the place of landing. This is because when an athlete falls on the ground after performing a high or long jump, the momentum of his body is reduced to 0. If the momentum of an athlete can be reduced to 0 instantly, it will result in the production of large force which may hurt the player. Whereas by providing a cushion bed, the momentum of the player's body is reduced to 0 in a delayed period, due to which less force acts on his body, hence preventing the athlete from getting hurt. Now, third example. Seat belt in a car are provided to prevent the passenger from getting thrown in the direction of motion. In case of sudden braking or any accident, passenger may get thrown in the direction of motion of a vehicle and may get fatal injuries. Whereas the stretchable seat belt prevents the passenger's body to fall suddenly and thus increase the time of rate of momentum to become zero. This will reduce the effective force, hence preventing the passenger from getting any fatal injury. So dear student, tell your parents or elder whoever driving the car to wear the seat belt, and even the passenger should wear the seat belt. So wear your seat belt while trying and be safe. Now we see Newton's third law of motion. Newton's third law of motion states that there is always reaction for every action in opposite direction and of equal magnitude. That is, action and reaction forces are equal but opposite. Action or application of Newton's third law of motion. First one, recoil of gun. When bullet is fired from a gun, it moves ahead. By Newton's third law of motion, the bullet applies same force on gun in backward direction. Due to this force, gun moves back, giving a jerk to shoulder of the gunman. This is called recoil of gun. Here, gun moves back only by small amount due to its heavy mass. Second application, walking of a person. How we walk? A person is able to walk due to Newton's third law of motion. During walking, a person pushes the ground in backward direction, and in the reaction, the ground also pushes the person with equal magnitude of force but in opposite direction. This enables him to move in forward direction against the push. Third one, swimming in water. Man pushes water back by applying force. By Newton's third law of motion, water applies equal and opposite force on swimmer. Due to this force, man moves ahead. Fourth example we see is the propulsion of a boat in forward direction. Sailor pushes water with a row in backward direction, resulting water pushing the row in forward direction. Consequently, the boat is pushed in forward direction. Now, the last important topic of part 1 is conservation of momentum. If two or more objects apply force on each other with no external force, the final momentum remains the same as initial momentum. That is, total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. Now we see the mathematical formulation of conservation of momentum. Suppose two objects A and B, each of mass m1 and m2, are moving initially with velocities u1 and u2. They strike each other after time t and start moving with velocity v1 and v2 respectively. You can see the figure. This is the collision. We know that the momentum equals to mass into velocity. So initial momentum of object A is m1 into u1 and initial momentum of object B is m2 into u2. Final momentum of object A is m1 into v1 and final momentum of object B is m2 into v2. Now, rate of change of momentum is equals to change in momentum upon time taken. Therefore, force Fa B, that is equals to m1 v1 minus m1 u1 upon t, that is equals to m1 common v1 minus u1 upon t. Also, rate of change of momentum in B during collision, that is FBA, equals to m2v2 minus m2u2 upon t. Here m2 is common, so v2 minus u2 upon t. Now from Newton's third law of motion we know that the force is equal but in opposite direction. So FAB is equal to FBA but in opposite direction, therefore minus FBA. Now m1 into bracket v1 minus u1 upon t equals to minus m2 into bracket v2 minus u2 upon t. Now t is common on both the sides, we can cancel, so you get m1 v1 minus m1 u1 equals to minus m2 v2 minus into minus plus m2 u2 when we open out the bracket. So m1 v1 minus m1 u1 equals to minus m2 v2 plus m2 u2. We take m1 v1 plus m2 v2 on one side, that is equals to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. So total initial momentum is equal to total final momentum. Now we see the application of conservation of momentum. First is propelling of rocket. The chemical inside the rocket burns and produces the high velocity blast of hot gases. These gases get ejected downward with a great velocity. To conserve the total momentum of the gases, the rocket moves up with a large velocity. Second, flight of a jet plane. In jet planes, a large volume of gases produced by combustion of fuel is allowed to escape through a jet in backward direction. Due to high velocity, the backward moving gases have a large momentum. In order to conserve the momentum, the plane gets a push in forward direction and moves with a greater speed.